All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this because President Trump and JD Vance just absolutely went off. And we see what these Democrats trying to do with this government shutdown, trying to say it's President Trump's fault because they shutting the government down when it's them that's trying to shut it down because they trying to get $1 trillion from President Trump to try to fund these illegal aliens. And JD Vance and President Trump, so they ain't going for it at all. So now, look what Chuck Schumer tried to do, tried to guilt trip President Trump and try to bring up a child with cancer in order to try to get money for President Trump to fund these illegal aliens. Look how desperate these Democrats have gone. Look how they treated DJ, the little kid that has cancer that President Trump was supporting, and they all was talking about this kid. So now all of a sudden Chuck Schumer cares about a kid with cancer. And I believe he's lying, trying to use that to try to get money from President Trump. That's what he's trying to do. And JD Vance, President Trump wasn't going for it. So they can try to come run right back to the media and try to say, oh, President Trump don't care about a kid that have cancer because we try to get money for him to take care of, and he wouldn't do this. President Trump can see right through these liars. They are liars, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to set this up for 2028 when JD Vance run, because President Trump said he's not funding no illegal aliens. He don't even want them in this country, only if you come here legally. So if President Trump get them that money to try to fund these illegal aliens, what they going to do in 2028? Oh, they're going to be trying to play close. So Donald Trump saying, he wasn't going to do this for illegal aliens. Then turn around, he gave them $1 trillion and to take care of illegal aliens. See, that's what they trying to do. President Trump ain't falling for it. So let's dive straight into it. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the one that always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you that do that because it definitely helps get the video out there. So please let me know in the comment section that you did stay to the end, and the ones that come straight in and hit that like button. That's very, very important. I appreciate all the support. Like I said, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's go ahead and dive straight into this, y'all. Now, before we get into what JD Vance said, I want to show y'all exactly what Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries said, and then I'm going to play what JD Vance said after that. So please check this out. So by Eric Daughter, he said, breaking, Chuck Schumer say he tried to guilt trip President Trump in the Oval Office, bringing up a child with cancer while demanding Trump back his spending plan that funds illegal aliens' health care and trans surgery for kids. Check this out.
Out to the president some of the consequences of what's happening in healthcare. And by his face and by the way he looked, I think he heard about them for the first time. The closing of rural hospitals. The fact that so many clinics are closing. And I don't know if he knew this before, but the fact that people will pay $4,000 more a year, $400 more a month, close to $5,000 more a year on their health care premiums if we don't do anything. And people don't know what to do. The average working family can't afford that. I told him how I met a mother who was crying to me because her daughter had cancer. And what has happened with health care?
See, but where's the proof of that? You can go in there and say anything that you met a mom that was crying that had a daughter with cancer. Where's your proof of that? Just saying that you can say anything. Y'all lie all the time.
With what they have done, she's going to watch her daughter suffer and maybe die. And so he seemed to, for the first time, understand the magnitude of this crisis. And we hope he'll talk to the Republican leaders and tell them we need bipartisan input on health.
No. So check this out. It don't stop there. Check this out right here.
Hakeem.
Thank you, Chuck. Republicans control the House, Republicans control the Senate, and Donald Trump is the president. If the government shuts down, it's because Republicans have decided to shut the government down.
No, Republicans ain't decided to do nothing. Y'all the one that's threatening to shut the government down because y'all want money, $1 trillion, to try to fund these illegal aliens. And come on, man. Like trying to blame this on Republicans when y'all the one saying y'all is the one that's going to shut it down. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's the finger pointing stuff. Look at this. And this Hakeem Jeffries, he ain't nothing but a dollar store Barack Obama. That's all he is. He's just a dollar store Barack Obama.
And hurt the American people.
No, y'all
And
trying
that's
to
a
hurt
point that we made.
Y'all the one trying to hurt the American people. See, now he want to blame it and say, "Oh, the Republicans is trying to hurt the American people," when they the one threatening to shut it down.
Republicans have decided to shut the government down and hurt the American people. And that's a point that we made loudly and clearly in that meeting. It was a frank and sharp discussion about the path forward. We made clear that we are ready, willing, and able over these next 36 or so hours to find a bipartisan path forward, to fund the government and avoid a shutdown. But any agreement must be bipartisan in nature, and it's got to meet the needs of the American people.
No, shut up. You ain't talking about the American people. Y'all trying to fund these illegal aliens. And see, what's going to happen is if President Trump was to do that for them, you know what all these liberals online going to say? Oh, they're going to be making videos. Oh, Donald Trump, they're going to be having clips right here. Donald Trump saying that he won't fund illegal aliens. He won't do that for illegal aliens. And then if he do that, they're going to have a clip aside of him doing it. That's what they want. They trying to get President Trump, and he's not going for it. And I'm glad he's not as well. So check this out right here. It say, holy crap, J.D. Vance just bodied Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Inject this into my vein. This is 48 presidential material. I told you, J.D. Vance is going to win. I don't care who they got over there. Gavin Newsom, Jasmine Crock shit. It don't matter who they got. AOC. It don't matter. Nobody is going to be. Gavin Newsom can't even run California. How can he run the United States of America? How? Check out what J.D. Vance said.
Frustrated about the fact that this negotiation has not taken place until today. But if you look at the original thing they did with this negotiation, it was a $1.5 trillion spending package, basically saying to the American people, we want to give massive amounts of money, hundreds of billions of dollars to illegal aliens for their health care, while Americans are struggling to pay their health care bills. That was their initial foray into this negotiation. We thought it was absurd. We told them it was absurd, and now they come in here saying that if you don't give us everything that we want, we're going to shut down the government. We think that's preposterous.
Exactly. See, they saying they going to shut down the government, but yet Hakeem Jeffries, the dollar store Obama, is trying to say the Republicans is trying to shut it down because they trying to pretty much threaten President Trump to get him money to try to fund these illegal aliens, and then sitting on camera and blaming the Republicans. I'm telling you, because if President Trump was to abide by their rules and do it, they going to be Hakeem Jeffries, all of them going to be trying to talk about President Trump. Oh, he said he wasn't going to do this. Oh, you see, we made him do it. It's going to be all over CNN, MSDNC, ABC, CBS. All of them going to be playing clips of if President Trump agreed to what they trying to get him to do, they're going to be playing clips trying to go off on President Trump. That's what they trying to do. And I'm like I said before, I'm so glad that President Trump and J.D. Vance is not biting for this at all. Of course, we don't want a government shutdown, but they up here trying to fund illegal aliens. They ain't trying to do nothing for the American people.
We think it's totally unacceptable, and we think the American people are going to suffer because these guys won't do the right thing. Now, I want to make one final point here. You will hear a lot from Senate Democrats, from House Democrats about the fact that American health care policy is broken. Well, we know that American health care policy is broken. We've been trying to fix it for the 8 months that we've been in office, but every single thing that they accuse about being broken about American health care is policy the Democrats have supported for the past decade. So if they want to talk about how to fix American health care policy, let's do it. The Speaker would love to do it. The Senate Majority Leader would love to do it. Let's work on it together, but let's do it in the context of an open government that's providing essential services to the American people. That's all that we're proposing to do, and the fact that they refuse to do that shows how unreasonable their position is. I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing. I hope they change their mind, but we're going to see. I'll let the Speaker say a few words.
So, and then check this one out right here. It say breaking J.D. Vance tells Democrats to shove it. Says a shutdown is coming.
We just had a very frank conversation with the Senate and House Democratic leadership. Look, the principle at stake here is very simple. We have disagreements about tax policy, but you don't shut the government down. We have disagreements about health care policy, but you don't shut the government down. You don't use your policy disagreements as leverage to not pay our troops, to not have essential services of government actually function. You don't say the fact that you disagree about a particular tax provision is an excuse for shutting down the people's government and all the essential services that come along with it. If you look at what Chuck Schumer has said in the past consistently, it's whatever our disagreements are, let's negotiate with them. Let's talk about them. Let's figure out a bipartisan solution, but you don't shut the government down. In other words, you don't put a gun to the American people's head and say, unless you do exactly what Senate and House Democrats want you to do, we're going to shut down your government. That's exactly what they're proposing out there.
Yep.
Now, we have to remember, they're very frustrated. They say that they're very frustrated about the fact that this negotiation has not taken place until today. But if you look at the original thing they did with this negotiation, it was a $1.5 trillion spending package, basically saying to the American people, we want to give massive amounts of money, hundreds of billions of dollars to illegal aliens for their health care, while Americans are struggling to pay their health care bills. That was their initial foray into this negotiation. We thought it was absurd. We told them it was absurd, and now they come in here saying that if you don't give us everything that we want, we're going to shut down the government. We think that's preposterous.
Wow.
We think it's totally unacceptable, and we think the American people are going to suffer because these guys won't do the right thing. Now, I want to make one final point here. You will hear a lot from Senate Democrats, from House Democrats about the fact that American health care policy is broken. Well, we know that American health care policy is broken. We've been trying to fix it for the 8 months that we've been in office, but every single thing that they accuse about being broken about American health care is policy that Democrats have supported for the past decade. So if they want to talk about how to fix American health care policy, let's do it. The Speaker would love to do it. The Senate Majority Leader would love to do it. Let's work on it together, but let's do it in the context of an open government that's providing essential services to the American people. That's all that we're proposing to do, and the fact that they refuse to do that shows how unreasonable their position is. I think.
And he's right. So, yeah, as you can see, that's exactly what they're trying to do. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
So the Democrats want to give away $1.4 billion of free money to the immigrants for health care. And if not, if the other side don't agree with it, they talking about shutting down the government. Why the do you fight so hard for everybody but your own people? I'm sorry. Those folks weren't supposed to be here to begin with. I don't really give two flying. What about us? What about us who struggle to pay for health care? And even though we pay a fortune on our health care, it still ain't enough. It still ain't enough. You still got to come out of pocket for hellish dying because they can't afford health care around this. Are you kidding me? You be dying and have lifted. You know how much it costs? I saw a lady post her bill. It was almost $60,000. That's what we deal with when it comes to health care. Sorry, not sorry. They got to fend for their goddamn self. Help us, Americans, before you worry about helping everybody else. God. I'm sick of that. And you know what? I don't even think the money going to the people. The money they want to give to the illegal immigrants, it ain't going to the illegal immigrants. It's going in their pocket. It's got to be.
And Jake, this feels very different than what happened back in March. At that point, the Democrats also had similar leverage as they were facing a potential government shutdown. But Chuck Schumer then decided he could not afford to see the country go through a potentially prolonged shutdown, ultimately agreed with Republicans, voted for that legislation, encouraged other Democrats to go that way, and endured significant blowback from Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, and other House Democrats. This time, Jeffries and Schumer are very much on the same page. In fact, in a matter of minutes, Jake, they plan to answer questions from reporters about how they see this playing out in the days ahead. But at the moment, the view on Capitol Hill is that a shutdown seems almost certain to happen unless a miracle happens at the 11th hour.
All right, Ron Araujo on Capitol Hill. Thanks so much. Meanwhile, the White House put out a revised version of a 20-point...
Inciting people to go kill Mormons, like you're inciting people to attack ICE, like you're inciting people to attack Republicans. That doesn't happen. And if you look in the inner cities, Democrats are slaughtering each other day after day after day, and you don't say anything about that. You ask this question, well, does the base want people to die? Yeah. Did you see the poll where it was like 20% of Democrats said they believed in political assassinations? Did you watch the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk killing? I mean, everybody was clapping on campus. Yeah, he deserved it, Jessica. Now, if I had won a swing state Senate race after having a stroke against money bags, celebrity Republican, I think people should listen to me. This guy is like a symbol for the working class. He even has the hoodie, and you'd think the Democrats would listen to him. They don't listen to him. They listen to crazy liberal ladies in the cities. And I do feel conflicted, though, because, you know, Jessica, when people say, oh, you know, there's this guy and these ICE people are so crazy, I get mad because it's a lie. But then when she says these ICE people are abducting and kidnapping innocent hairdressers and sending them to dungeons to be tortured, I think, well, that's scaring a lot of illegals to go home themselves. So the next time Jessica brings up all these scare stories about all of these illegals getting rounded up indiscriminately, innocent people being sent overseas, I'm just going to say I agree. Because 2 million illegals have seen these scare tactics that Jessica likes to talk about, and they have left by themselves.
Now, I want to turn the tables for a second because I had to bring y'all this because, of course, President Trump been going off on Mamdani. They trying to get him to. They pretty much saying the Democrats think that he's going to win, but President Trump got a good present for him, even if he think he's going to win, because you know President Trump called him a communist. So check this out right here by Gunther Eagleman. It say comment crashing out. Mamdani just ran to CNN. They always run to CNN. Don't y'all always know that Democrats run to CNN because it's not going to be any pushback, and they just let them tell all type of lies on President Trump, and they're not going to correct them. That's why you'll never see Mamdani run over to Fox News because he'll get called out by Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld, you know, all of them. He's going to get called out. So that's why he runs over here to CNN for a softball interview and said he's not shaking that spook look on his face. Mamdani is cracking and it's happening in front of our faces. New York City is screwed either way, but it would be particularly bad if Mamdani wins. So check this out.
Criticism, his attacks on him. What did he have to say?
Yeah, you know, Trump has obviously made this race a national race and tried to make Zohran Mamdani the face of Democrats, or as Trump would say, the face of communism. There are many in the donor groups of New York and outside New York, Jake, as you know, who are playing in this race. Adams was struggling to raise money. Andrew Cuomo, who Trump clearly prefers, has a lot of money waiting on the sidelines that now may rush in. And that's the big question, what this means for Mamdani. But Trump has made this about Trump, and he has made it not about Zohran Mamdani as a Democratic nominee or a Democratic socialist, but as a communist. And I asked Mamdani about that. Here's that exchange, Jake. So the New York Times reported that Trump spoke with Cuomo on the phone, actually last month, and about the mayoral race. Now, Cuomo's denied this conversation took place, but this is the New York Times reporting. And as I pointed out a few moments ago, Trump has been very clear on who he backs, but it actually goes farther than that, right? He has attacked you personally and publicly like this.
He's not a socialist. He's a communist, okay? This is not a socialist, man. This is a communist.
I don't like to see a communist become mayor, I will tell you that.
I call him my little communist. He's my little communist mayor. We should never be in a position where we're talking about a communist. We're going to end up with a communist mayor. It's not even believable, my beautiful New York. I think if a communist takes over New York City, I think that's a gift to the Republican Party.
Yeah, but the problem is President Trump is telling the truth. They talking about President Trump calling him a communist, but they sit over there on CNN every day calling him Hitler and Mussolini and all type of names. Wishing death on him, hope he would have got shot and all type of stuff. Well, not shot, but got taken out because that's what they wanted to happen to President Trump. So they can call President Trump all these names, call J.D. Vance all these names. But as soon as President Trump say something, oh, he's attacking you. He ain't even attacking this. He's just attacking you personally. These people are just freaking delusional.
Last time you were on this program, you were unequivocal in saying you do not like capitalism. But Trump, just in those remarks there, I counted, called you a communist 8 times. Are you?
No. I'm a democratic socialist. I've said that time and again. And I think it reflects the fact that whereas that identity would have been enough for Donald Trump in the past, now he doesn't even want to use that because he knows that the message of my politics is one that is connecting with New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs. It's a message of dignity in each and every person's life. And what we're seeing in these clips and what we're seeing in what Donald Trump says is he's going through the many stages of grief. First, it's denial that this could ever take place. Now it's acceptance. And still through it all, he is looking to use every tool at his disposal to help Andrew Cuomo become the next mayor of the city.
Ain't that's what CNN tried to do? They tried to help Kamala Harris. You see with the negative coverage that they put on President Trump? Why y'all don't run over there and talk about that? 97% bad coverage on President Trump from CNN, and they tried to push Kamala Harris over the finish line. I'm telling you, I can just keep calling these people out all day. They just hypocrites.
And Jake, it's going to be fascinating to see what happens because as I was, indicating, there's a lot of money that has been sitting on the sidelines that did not want to go big money. Some of the big hedge fund people, Bill Ackman, others, right? They don't want Zoran Mamdani for a variety of reasons, whether it be his economic policies, whether it be his policies on Gaza. They don't want him. So they've been waiting for Adams to come out because they didn't see Cuomo as viable. Now, all of a sudden, this money is going to flow in. And it's really going to be important to watch because it is a national race. Barack Obama had a conversation with Zoran Mamdani about a month ago. New York Times reported on it saying Obama said how you run the biggest city in this country is really going to matter. People are going to be looking to find anything wrong in what a democratic socialist is. So, but obviously Trump, we'll see what he said today, already weighing in, saying he thinks this is good for Andrew Cuomo. He'll have a lot more to say.
All right, Aaron Burnett, thanks.
Like, these people are crazy, bro. They just are just willing to say anything. So check this out right here what President Trump wrote. But this right by Laura Loomer. It say President Trump say he won't. He said it won't matter if Mamdani is mayor because he won't release federal funds to Mamdani anyway. Just what President Trump said. He said sadly it's going to be very bad for our country and the party when Mamdani is mayor because his Islamic ideology will inspire acts of jihad that get innocent people killed. And we'll read it right here just in this, in its entirety. So you can see this from President Trump on Truth Social. He said, self-proclaimed New York City communist Zoran Mamdani, who is running for mayor, will prove to be one of the best things to ever happen to our great Republican Party. He's going to have problems with Washington like no mayor in the history of our once great city. Remember, he needs the money from me as president in order to fulfill all of his fake communist promises. He won't be getting any of it. So what's the point of voting for him? This ideology has failed always for thousands of years, and it will fail again, and that's guaranteed. President Donald J. Trump. So, as y'all can see, this is where President Trump, you see everybody commenting on it. So, he said, unfortunately, President Trump is probably right. The Mamdani guy is a sleazy greaseball, similar to the lying real estate agents I've encountered in California with similar names. He will deliver nothing. The dude has no experience, but the ideology left has to be shown. And that's just what it is. So, as y'all can see, y'all heard what President Trump had to say about Zoran Mamdani, but of course CNN is going to back him and say, oh, look how Donald Trump attacking you. But these people sit over there every single day attacking President Trump and everybody around him. Every single day. So, let's take it on over here to old Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. And now he's saying it is dangerous for the Trump administration to call the Democrat Party fascist, but yet Governor Gavin Newsom just 2 days ago called Stephen Miller a fascist. Just 2 days ago. I mean, like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So now Governor J.B. Pritzker says it's dangerous for Trump administration to call the Democrat Party fascist when everybody over there in the on the left been calling people over on the right fascist for the longest. So check this out right here.
Times. For Donald Trump and the MAGAs in Congress, this is not about fighting crime or about public safety. This is about sowing fear and intimidation and division among Americans. It was about creating a pretext to send armed military troops into our communities. This is about consolidating power in Donald Trump's hands. What he plans to do with that power now or during the 2026 elections should worry all of us. When you add to that the Trump administration's effort to label as dangerous free speech critical of him, White House senior staff calling the Democratic Party fascist, the Trump-appointed FCC chair threatening to revoke broadcast licenses and the approval of a merger in order to silence late-night comedians.
Oh, talk about like late-night. So you call Jimmy Kimmel a late-night comedian? What's so funny about him? This guy sit on there. It'll be more different. Okay, if you're going to attack the right, you're going to attack President Trump, attack people on the left too, if you're trying to be so funny. But if you just always, every show, you just talking about Donald Trump, calling him a fascist, saying he this, saying he's that, Then the little comment he made about Charlie Kirk talking about a MAGA supporter was the one that assassinated Charlie Kirk. You call that comedy? Like, these people are sick, man. These people are sick, but look what they did to Roseanne Barr, though. Look what they did to Roseanne Barr, but they ain't talking about that. Only just their side that they care about. But yet they call President Trump, like I said before, everybody around him fascist every single day. And now he want to cry talking about people on the right is calling them fascists.
Trump's threats to jail political opponents.
Ain't that what y'all try to do to him? Donald Trump's threat to jail political opponents, but yet, look what Fannie Willis tried to do to President Trump. Look what Letitia James tried to do to President Trump. Even had people over there on The View Sunny hosting, were pretty much talking about she heard the inside scoop from the DA, Alvin Bragg, talking about, oh, they gonna send President Trump to the worst prison in New York City. She heard about it. They tried to lock President Trump up forever. If they're the one, that's exactly what they was gonna try to do. Not only that, they even had people around here, Rudy Giuliani, and like 20 more people that they tried to send to prison that they tried to lock up. So now they want to cry about, oh, Donald Trump is trying to lock up his political opponents. See, that's the thing. It's not revenge. It's justice. That's exactly what it is.
You cannot call this anything except an attack on the Constitution of the United States.
Let's go ahead and get to this one right here. Now, as y'all can see, look what these liberals is already trying to do. Now, this is the guy that pretty much, he's deceased now, that the police had took him out because he was the one that set that church on fire in Michigan, and shot inside the church. So here go these liberals trying to make it seem like this guy had a MAGA shirt on. Well, yet this is the original picture right here on the right. This is the original picture. And then they just printed this Trump sign on his T-shirt to make it seem like he's MAGA. This is how far these people are going. They did the same thing with that Tyler Robinson that assassinated Charlie Kirk. He took a picture, had a picture of him in his room, and they just put a Trump logo on him. Like, these people are freaking weird and are just willing to do anything. So, it was a little bit more information on this. More information about the Grand Blanc situation from Click on Detroit. They have unconfirmed reports that Thomas Sanford dealt with PTSD, and local news shows his son has a rare medical condition. It said what we know about the suspect so far is that he's a father of a 10-year-old boy with a rare illness. He's a former U.S. Marine, rank of sergeant, several awards, Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, and National Defense Service Medal. So like I said, man, that's why I said before, like, stuff just has to stop. So, like I said, that's all the report I have on this guy right here. Like I said, I haven't seen anything else that came out, but I will keep y'all updated as more information come out. Let me know down below in the comments section how you feel about everything, and how JD Vance just absolutely went off on Chuck Schumer, trying to demand $1 trillion to try to take care of illegal aliens and threatening to shut down, the government. So like I said, this right here is just crazy. Like I said, thank you all for watching, especially the ones that made it to the end. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.